Good day and welcome to this grow along video where we're going to be sowing three types of brassicas, actually three types of kale, and the types we are going to be growing, we will be harvesting individual leaves off a growing stalk. So if you imagine how Brussels sprouts grow on a stalk, ours are going to grow that stalk, and as they grow, the leaves that are produced as their harvests, we will be able to break off from the bottom and eat those, and the stalk will carry on growing and it will carry on producing leaves for us to harvest. The three types that we are going to be sowing are two that are standard for us and one that is new to us. We are going to be sowing Nero di Toscana, which is also known as Cavallo Nero. It's an Italian kale, sometimes called dinosaur kale, and it has the long blade-like leaves of dark green, and the leaves themselves are sort of pocketed and are absolutely delicious, really fantastic. The other variety that we now grow as standard is one that we started growing a few years ago when we were given a couple of plants by a fellow plot holder, and that is Portuguese cabbage. Even though it's called cabbage, it is actually a kale. And the leaves on these are much wider and broader than the Cavallo Nero, and much paler as well. They're a light green. They're more of a normal cabbage green, if you like. They are a fabulous, fabulous variety to grow. We are going to be sowing seed that we saved last year. So we sowed this seed in 2019, grew it on, and then in 2020, the plant flowered, and it's the saved seeds from those plants that we are going to be sowing today. And that saved seed is actually, it's in a glass jar, and we keep it in our fridge, and it will stay fresh in our fridge for years. I'll just switch to an image of one of our Portuguese cabbage that is going to seed at the moment. And what that means is it's going to produce a flower, which obviously bees and other pollinators will pollinate, and then it will produce seeds from those pollinated flowers. But you can see here that the flower is coming up through the center of the plant, which is what happens in a second growing year with Portuguese cabbage. The third variety that we are going to be sowing is brand new to us. It's from Vital Seeds. It's called Dazzling Blue Kale. And again, it's Cavallo Nero style. So it has the long bladed leaves that you take off and eat. As the name suggests, it has a bluish tinge to the leaf, and also the ribs of the leaf are a pinky, or have a pinky tinge to them. So it'll be interesting to see how we do with those. So the only brassicas that we're growing this year are Brussels sprouts, which we already sowed a month or so ago, and we are going to be pricking those out and potting those on quite soon. And then these three kale varieties. I'm not sure whether we're going to do purple sprouting broccoli, but if we do, I'll be sowing those next month. Let's see how we do. In the meantime, let me show you the seeds of these three different varieties. Here we have the Nero di Toscana seeds. These are the Dazzling Blue Kale. Very little difference. Here we have the Portuguese cabbage seeds. Slightly more consistent in colour. As I normally do, I have done my labels first, and I use them as separators. I want about the same number of each So that was the Portuguese cabbage. This is Nero di Toscana. Put that one up a bit. Dazzling Blue Kale. Let's sow that one first. I want about 18 plants. So I'm going to be sowing about, I'm not counting here, 50% more, or what I feel is 50% more. So instead of 18, I'm sort of sowing 27. Next we have our own saved seed of the Portuguese cabbage. Could have given this one a little bit more space. Given that one quite a lot of space, haven't I? And then finally the Nero di Toscana. Maybe just a few more. Now these seeds, like I said about the Portuguese cabbage seeds, my spare Dazzling Blue Kale and Nero di Toscana, I will keep in the fridge in a airtight box. The Portuguese cabbage, as you saw, stay in a jar. I'm just going to press them down with my fingers to make sure that the seeds are well in contact with the compost. Let's just move that forward a bit and stop bouncing. And now I'm putting about 1 centimetre of compost on top. This compost has dried a bit since I did the first lot. So about 1 centimetre, and then again press down. By pressing those down, we've made sure that the top of the seed is well in contact with the compost we put on top. Now, again, I'm giving everything a really good water. That's those 3 kale sown. Nero di Toscana, Portuguese cabbage, and the Dazzling Blue Kale, that's like Cavallo Nero. That seedling tray is going to stay in our polytunnel. If you don't have a polytunnel, then you could put it outside with a propagator lid. For us, propagator lids outside at the moment are more to stop squirrels getting at what we've just sown, rather than for protection from the elements. But a little protection from the elements is good at this time of year, i.e. March. Do not put these under lights or give them additional heat. They really do not need it. And you could end up with a germinating seedling that gets really excited about the light and the heat and really goes for it and produces something that is quite leggy, quite weak, and you may then have to start again. A few of our subscribers have said to us, what can we do with these seedlings? And they've shown us really leggy seedlings, and we've said sow again, because what you don't want to do is start with something that's weak, because if you start with a weak seedling, it could continue to be a weak plant. Anyway, I reckon these will be up, particularly the Portuguese cabbage. It's pretty quick, within about 7 to 14 days. And we will pick up on these as they germinate in a week at the plot. So please do make sure that you are watching that. In maybe about 6 weeks time, 4 to 6 weeks time, depending upon how the weather is, the ambient temperature down here at the plot, we'll be pricking these out and putting them into pots. They will go into a pot sort of this size, slightly different to this, but that size, and they'll grow on before being planted out into the allotment. We will not be taking these as seedlings and planting them direct out into the ground. And also, when we do take them out from the polytunnel, we'll make sure that we do harden them off as well. But we'll come on to that in due course. Okay, I'll leave it here for now. If you do have any comments or questions, please do put them down below. And I will see you again very soon for another Grow Along video. Bye.